Hey Tubies, he's back and it's another pickup video. It's been a while. The setup's a bit different because obviously I've redecorated the living room. So put a new floor down and new rugs and things, and repositioned the settee and bits and bobs. So, and had a good sort out over here, but had a bit of a declutter. Some of the collectibles have gone up in the loft, and so it's a bit more space. It's easier to dust and everything else really. But I will do a good another game house tour at some point, probably in a few months. But until then, it'll be just pick up videos. So, but I hope we're all doing well in YouTube land. It's a bit crazy at the moment, but hey ho, it is what it is. Back to what's more important, and that's hope you're well and healthy, and doing well. Pickup wise, I've got a nice mix. It's mostly more modern games. There's one retro game, proper retro, and the rest are just modern bits more than anything else really. So with no further delay, let's do a pickups. But as always, let's pick up from the HMV bag. Final of the month, and buy most of my vinyls for Amazon, to be honest. Sometimes if they have more good deals than HMV, I might get them in there, but most of the time they're just more expensive, aren't they? So what have I got? It is the first Pearl Jam album. I think it's called, is it 10 or something? Yeah, classic. I guess it's like Seattle type rock, the same scene as Nirvana and Green Day and that sort of thing, I suppose. But obviously, one of the best bands, and this is their first album, so it's got all the big hits like Even Flow and stuff like that. It was only £16 new, so that's quite good actually. A new reissue, so pleased to have that. I got a board game. I was on holiday last week, and in the window of a CX in, where was it? It was Eastbourne. They had a Dungeons and Dragons board game, and I was very tempted. It was £45, but I did a bit of research, and apparently there's about loads of Dungeons and Dragons, different types of board games, about 5 of them at least. And to be perfectly honest, even though they look nice, I'll never actually play it. It's a bit too complicated for my lot. But a game that we do play is Cluedo. So I looked to see if there's a Dungeons and Dragons Cluedo, and there is. And it's actually a modern release from 2023, so it's only a year and a half old. And I got it. There's a sale on eBay. It's selling quite a few new copies of this for only $11.99 shipped. And so I got here Cluedo, Dungeons and Dragons, and it's for Trouble in Baldur's Gate. And it's really nice. You get some metal murder weapons and stuff like that. So yeah, we do play Cluedo. My wife and daughter and I. We've got a Ghostbusters one and another one. I can't remember which other one it was. So there's a possibility that this may well get played, and it's quite. I like Cluedo. I've got a few Monopoly sets, which always with Monopoly, it takes forever, and it's not that an enjoyable game if you ask me. It isn't really. It's whereas Cluedo, it's a shorter game, and it's much more enjoyable in my book, and simpler. Okay. I also have a this came about 6 weeks ago, a mini console, and I got the other ones, the Japanese and American one, but there's a special MVS sort of MVS Neo Geo Mini, and this has quite a hell of a lot of selection of. It's got 45 Neo Geo games on it, so it's quite a good choice. And this bundle I actually got from AliExpress because that was the cheapest place to do it, and it comes with 2 of the red controllers. With shipping, it was £68. So I think that's a bloody steal in my book. So as I had the Japanese and the Western Mini, I thought, oh, that MVS Mini does look nice. So I thought, yeah, 68 quid, I'll get one. Some people have criticised it because it's like a company called Unisco or whatever is taking over making them, and they ain't quite as good as the old as they were when the first ones came out. But it's not bad, and for 65, 6 quid. What kind of things do you expect really with that kind of money? Okay, video game pickups. Let's do the retro ones. So if you're not into modern games, you can always switch off. So I'll see you next time in a bit when I tell you when we move on to those. But before we do, we've got one Saturn game. I've got Sonic R. I'm decided to get the 3 Sonic games for the on the Power set, so I don't really need any. No, I've got all these games on other systems, like previous combinations. So I just thought I'd get this, and I got this off Vinted in the end, so it was quite a good price. I think it was about a £30 mark delivered, so it was quite good, all complete. So happy with that. This wasn't a lot of money. I think it was all complete. New light condition. I think it was CX, but I think it was about £25. Shuttlecock H. That's one of those sort of pervy type games. I'm getting all the pervy fun box ones. Just sort of a bit of a subset. An RPG which I've been wanting for a while. It wasn't super cheap. It was 28, but it's one of those games where I'm thinking, oh, well, will I ever see it much cheaper than that? And probably not. So I thought I might as well get it, just in case it did decide to go up. Because the question is, will the price of Switch games go down when the Switch 2 comes out? I'm not so sure. I think some of the first-party Nintendo games may go down a bit when you got the Switch 2 HD and upgraded versions. But, and the big but is that a lot depends if they come out on cartridge or they come out as a key, because a lot of people don't want to pick up those new keys, and it is definitely putting me off from getting the Switch 2. I think I've decided I'm not going to bother. I think I'll just stick to a Switch. Hopefully, like they've done with many PS4 games, if it came out on a PS5, they may also bring it out on a PS4. So in the same way, they may bring out some Switch 2 games also on Switch, possibly. Certainly the more smaller developers will probably do that, because a lot of them you don't need to have like PS4 type graphics on some of the games, because they're quite simple. But we'll see what happens. But I think with Switch 1, it's going to be a very desirable system to collect for, and because I think a lot of people will be put off by the direction that Switch 2 is going, which is like basically codes in the box or codes on the plastic key and stuff. So it's it's certainly putting me off. From my point of view, I think the Switch 1 may be the last proper Nintendo console I get, a new one. But we'll see. Stranger things are known to be happening. If we vote with our wallet and don't buy the key games, then maybe they'll rethink and bring them out on proper cartridge. Who knows? Maybe not. But sometimes people have been known to reverse decisions. I think there's quite a few wacky decisions with Nintendo in the past, whether it's from the Wii U release to the 3DS initial variations, and people did complain and it did rethink after a while. So who knows? We do have a bit of a voting power, and certainly with the tariffs and everything else, I reckon the Switch 2 sales are going to drop a bit, because it's definitely in America, and prices are going to be pushed up. So we'll see if that reflects into a European market. Will the prices also be pushed up in Europe and UK, because they tend to follow whatever price things are in the States, don't they? So yeah, we'll see. Okay, PS4 and PS5 now, so it's all relatively modern. So, retro guys, I'll catch you later. See you later. But if you're interested in the modern systems, we can carry on. I'll do PS5 first, and then PS4. Sounds a bit weird, but I just the PS5 lots smaller. So on the PSVR 2, I've got Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition. I'm going for a full set of physical PS5 VR2 games because it's quite an achievable full set. I think it's only like 40 odd games. I think there's only another 17 or 16 I've got to get. So yeah, so that's quite doable. And another one which I got for about £22 from Amazon. It's published by Perp Games. That was also Perp as well, the Star Wars one. So they are publishing a lot of VR2 games. And it's Crossfire Sierra Squad. Then we got, this was cheap in Smith's Epic Mickey Remastered. I got this from the States, VGP I think it was. It's limited one release, so it's Dark Forces Remastered. So it's got the 2 Dark Forces games on there. There was 2, wasn't there? I know that I played the first one at least. I think there's 2. Or am I wrong? Well, that's what you are. Maybe no, maybe there's only 1 game. I thought there's 2 for the life of me, but maybe I'm getting mixed up. I know there's a few similar games brought out on the PSP. That's what I'm probably thinking. There's probably only 1 Dark Forces on the PS1 and PC, old PC, and then there was a few similar type games on the PSP, weren't there? Steelbook copy of Dragon's Dogma 2. Got this in CX. About £28 or something. I picked it up because it was in good condition. I've seen this game so many times, and the steel box is bashed to pieces, so they've been abused a lot. So to get one in good condition is not as easy as you may think. This game was also in quite cheap, about £10 or £12 mark. It's got good reviews. It's I don't know if I can pronounce this. It's either Miasma or Miasma Chronicles. It's got a little bit of sci-fi, interesting fantasy type. I think it's like a. I think it's slightly top down and then slightly first. Sometimes third person type camera angles on it. Sort of adventure sci-fi type game. So it's got good reviews. I have the first one, so I wanted to play a second one. So Jedi Survivor. So that was cheap from Smiths. Then we got Aliens Dark Descent. Hopefully you can't hear that. It's my cat going for the cat litter. What they do. You could have waited until I finished doing the video, couldn't you, cat? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, Aliens Dark Descent. Again, that was cheap in CX. I think that was only about £12 mark. I got this as well from. Funny enough, I got this from CX for £26. I mean, I think it's a few quid cheaper actually on Amazon. So I should have got it from there. But so that's what I was. Yeah, you do need to double check, don't you, when you look at games on CX. Sometimes they can be cheaper on Amazon still. So it pays for it, but it's a really good space shooter that has like a lot of anime type story to it as well. It's by Perp Games, and it's been got really good reviews and everything else. And a lot of people said this is really good, so I reckon that's going to be quite a valuable game one day. Roguelike. And then this other game, it was dirt cheap in Smiths. My daughter was playing it, and it's one of those games. You got to grind a lot in it, and it's not too much of a story. So it's not the best South Park game out there, and it's South Park Snow Day. I think the first 2 are much better to this. Okay, now turning to PS4. I've got one PSVR game. I already had the standard Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, but there's also a special one which has some Top Gun Maverick DLC with it as well. I think it's just a few planes and stuff. Yeah, so I got that for £12 CX, which is good because if you was to get that new, you easily pay 25. Yeah, just to go with a PSVR collection, you know, I will get the variants because I am going for a PSVR full set, and as I've said in previous videos, that is a big set. I think there's only either 1 or 2 Western games I've got to get now, but 8 Japanese, so they'll be a little bit pricey. Then I got the full set. That's well over 200 games, that is. So I would not recommend collecting the PSVR set to anybody now. I did it at the time because I started it from the very beginning, thinking that how many games will there be on the PSVR when it came out? Probably only about 50 physical, you know. But no, they did end up releasing a lot, which is a lot more than what most people will think, actually. Anyway, back to other PS4 games. I had to get this. It's part of the Metal Slug series, Metal Slug Tactics by PixelLove. It was about £20 mark. Yeah, I got that from Amazon. You can get it from PixelLove website or Amazon. It's actually cheaper to get it from Amazon. Yeah, I don't think it's a particularly great game. It was a bit of a different take to things, it being a sort of tactical game. Okay, I've got this from CX. This was 22. It's the launch edition for Assassin's Creed Mirage, and this is like brand new, like Type edition. It's got all the extra maps and stuff that came packed with it. It's really nice and neat, so that's why I picked it up, because it was such good condition. Because I know you can get the base game for brand new for 18 quid, but I thought that sort of launch edition was a nice variant for, you know, for a few extra pounds. This was actually cheap on Amazon. I think it's under £20 mark. It's an IREM Collection Volume 1 by Strictly Limited. I think there's going to be about 5 or 6 IREM releases is going to be. But they're going to take forever coming out by Strictly Limited, won't they? So I was thinking of, should I get the Japanese versions, but they are a bit more pricey, so as this was cheap as chips, I just got it in the end. And it is obviously the Western version, even though they may take forever coming out because that's Strictly Limited for you. But like I said, they actually did sell that on Amazon, so a few Strictly Limited games are being released for sale on Amazon, so which is nice because you can often get free shipping. Okay, Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. That again, that was CX cheapy. I play all the Lego games. Persona Tactica PST. Again, this is relatively quite cheap, new. I think I got it for about under 20. I get all the Shin Megami Tensei Persona games. Again, this was cheap, under a tenner. Evil Dead the game. I know the servers, I think they've pretty much shut down, so it's a bit of a placemat, but I do love the Evil Dead, so that's why I had to pick it up, and I do have it already on the PS5, so I tend to multi-dip when it comes to certain games like Evil Dead, multi-dip. Journey to a Savage Planet. Again, this was only about £5 or £6, and it looked quite good. It looked like a first-person type shooter. I tend to collect a lot of the MX motocross GP games. This is 2019 version. Again, it was cheap, under a tenner. This was brand new. Again, cheap. It's a Taito game. Operation Wolf Returns, the first mission. So again, it's not a light gun game, obviously, but it's, you know, it's that sort of type shooter though. That will for the PS4, which has a PS5 upgrade. So it wasn't much. I think it was about £16. This was cheaper than CX. Again, under a tenner. Knack 2. The first Knack. It's been out forever, that game has. I always collected all the Formula 1 games, so this is a Formula 1 22. Again, I got it relatively cheap. Okay. I got this for only £22 off eBay, I think it was. But it's Tintin and the Cigars of a Pharaoh. So obviously that's one of the Tintin books, a video game based on it. They all are limited editions, and they all come with a steel book. I had seen this on PS5 for £25 in cash converters, and I was very tempted. But then I thought I'd rather have a PS4, because that's what I tend to do. I tend to, if a game is available on both systems, I get them on PS4, and the reason being is that you can also play PS4 games on the PS5, and graphically there isn't a huge difference really. And so it's, you know, it gives you extra options, whereas obviously the PS5 version of games you can only play them on the PS5, not with PS4. So it prefers psychology maybe, but I think for that reason sometimes PS4 versions will end up being more valuable than PS5 versions. Perhaps, maybe not. I just think the PS4 console is superb. The library fantastic. I think it's. I won't be surprised if it's overtaken the PS2 in terms of amount of games available. I mean, people shout out about the Switch, and there's a hell of a lot of games on the Switch too. But I think the PS4 does have the edge over the Switch One games because they are better graphically, even though you don't get the handheld options. So yeah. Okay, this game. I'm a big King Kong fan, so I had to get this. This is Rise of Kong, Skull Island. Apparently it's pants. So I'm multi-dipping on that one and getting that on all 4 platforms. Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I collect all the Call of Duty games when I see them for a good price. Likewise, I collect all the Hot Wheels games. So this is Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Stunt Mayhem. Again, that was probably about 15. I think this is about under a tenner. It's a second Zombieland game, Double Tap, Road Trip. I got this new from Smiths a while back, probably a couple of months back. And that's Hogwarts Legacy. My daughter was playing it, but she got bored after a while, so she stopped. Interesting looking game, Looney Tunes. Wacky World of Sports, I think that's about 16. These looked interesting, and these were under a tenner. So Puyo Puyo with Tetris, and there is a second one, Puyo Puyo and Tetris 2. So I thought I'd have both those. Another Lego game, 2K Drive. Again, that was quite cheap. Right, this game looked really interesting. It reminds me of a Bioshock, and you know, a lot of people say good things about it. It's set in the world of Tesla, with the inventor, not the overpriced, expensive electric cars that are overvalued and being destroyed in terms of reputation by being overvalued and over technical, with no new models, and overpriced and related to a fascist Elon Musk. So yeah, so unfortunately that's kind of ruined Tesla's grand name. But anyway, it's set of a world of Tesla at the time, with sort of a sort of a horror stroke adventure options. So that's close to a Sun. That was only £12. But it looked good. Crash Team Rumble. Collect all the Crash games. A lot of money. Collect all the Telltale and this is the Walking Dead collection. I think this has got all the games and the DLC all in one disc. So yeah, had to have that. Okay, you can get this on Switch in the UK, but I wanted the PS4 version, so I had to get it on the import. And so it's Katamari Demacy Reroll. So it's a slightly remastered version of Katamari Damacy. Nerf Legends, again that was under a tenner, it looked interesting. Okay, these last three games, this first one, I got it because I'm getting it on the multi-plats because I do love the board game, and that is Talisman. So the digital edition, it's all new and sealed. Best to get it new because you do get like some sticker sheets and other bits inside as well as the physical game. Yeah, exclusive DLC cards. So yeah, I got it for a fair. It wasn't. I think it's about £18. But I think that will become a pricey game one day. Alright, I had to get this limited run way forward release of or remaster of the Clock Tower game. So I think it's got the original Clock Tower, which you can play in the old-fashioned graphics, or you can play it in sort of updated remastered graphics. So you get those options, and I think you've got like a rewind function and all sorts. So yeah, really pleased to have that. It wasn't hugely expensive. I think I got it on eBay for I think around 30 quid or under. But this other game I got for 50 quid from eBay, and the reason why I got it on eBay because it's cheaper than on Amazon. And I wanted to make sure I did get a European copy. It's a UK copy, which is his. It's got both English and European languages on the back. And it is the Final Fantasy Collection 1 to 6 of the game. So yeah, I wanted it on the PS4. I think you can get it on PS5 too. But again, for those reasons I've just said, I wanted it on PS4. And to be perfectly honest, the graphics will definitely not be any different. And the fact that you can play as on both consoles, so why not? So yeah, I'm really pleased to have that. Yeah, it's going to be a hard game to come by in the future. We're going to know that this one will be. So get it while you can, but it's not cheap. Even used on eBay, on CX, you're paying over 50 easily. So to get a new copy sealed, I thought that's a fair price. And that's it. I do have about another dozen PS4 games, but I think I'll just bag them up and save them for a future pickup video, because I think it's this video's probably gone on long enough. So yeah. So that's it. That's all my pickups, guys. I hope you're all doing well. Take care of yourself, and until next time, bye.